Hi, I'm Stephen Ham from Archery Supplies, and this is the new Bowtech for 2024, the Core SR. The SR is meant to be fast, so this is the fast version. It's 344 feet per second, 33 inches axle-axle, 6-inch brace tidal weighs 4.5 pounds. I think the tag on here is correct. The draw length is from 25 to 30. By the way, the tag on here has the initials of the people who have signed it off. This is a 60-pound bow. Hopefully we'll get it set at 29 inches. Okay, bit about this bow, what's changed, what's different, how does it compare to the other bows. Bowtech's effectively got two bows which are very similar, the SS and the SR. The SS, super smooth, SR meant to be like something fast, right? I don't know what the SR stands for, but anyway, fast. So they're both very similar, 7 feet per second difference. I shot the SS really well, much better than I would have thought I would have shot it. So the difference between this bow and the one in the past, the 2023 version, the cams have changed, okay? They're a lot smaller, a lot rounder, so it should be easier to draw. You've got a tuning system on the cams like you've got on the Reckoning, so they've added that. So this was on their target bow, they've included on their hunting bow. I don't think this is a thing, although it's a thing as far as selling a product. It's like, oh, look at this, it's the new version. The cams on the Bowtech, this is unique to Bowtech, and I'm going to say unique to Bowtech. Athens also do it. You can move the cams left to right, okay, for tuning. So on normal bows, when I say normal bows like PSE, Hoyt, Matthews, you move the cams left to right through shimming, which sometimes you've got to take off the cam, off the bow, and then you put shims in and move left to right. With this, you just dial it here. It's very simple to do. You've got a module for rotating the draw length in 1/2-inch increments. You've got 3 screws holding it, just move it to what size you want. Stops there, which you move to the corresponding draw length. If you want a bigger valley, you just move this forward or back. Okay, it's really simple. I'm going to point out the string here. It goes through a little S shape. This reduces the tension at this point here because it's going through these little S's. So if you dry fire the bow, less likely to damage it here. You will damage it here, but less likely to there. I'll point this out. So the bows, on some bows, the axles go through the limbs. On the Bowtech, it's drilled through here, and it's a bracket that bolts onto the limb. The reason for this, well, one of the reasons for this is if you dry fire your bow, instead of pulling apart the limbs, hopefully this will save that, but it may not save this, because if you want to build up strength here, it's going to slow the bow down. So the less mass you have here, the faster your bow. Okay. Roller cable slide here, which flexes in to reduce torque, which takes the pressure off the cables here to stop the cams torquing. The pivot point on the Bowtech's more in the middle to stop vibration. Bowtech did this years ago on a boat called a Guardian. I'm stuck with it. Metal limb pockets. I really like this. The pocket goes inside the riser and it's got lock-in screws here. I'm going to say this is the best in the business as far as a lock-in system. Most bows don't have a lock-in system on the limbs, so this is a bit unique and it's a cool thing. Bowtech in this year have got a sight thing, so you can fit it in here, bolt it in the middle there. It's for the Bowtech sights. You can't use another sight. I don't think it's a thing. It's called a center mass technology. So instead of having a sight on the side and affecting the weight of the bow, it's more in line with the bow. Look, I don't think moving this little bit here, which weighs virtually nothing, is going to make any difference. My personal opinion. You've got an inline system on the back here if you want to use an inline rest. Bolt-on system here. 2-piece quivers go on here. Bowtech's also released an inline stabilizer system, which I don't understand because it screws on here. Matthews has one which goes inside the riser. I don't understand that either because I'm like, why would you do that? but it's got a grip that moves backwards and forwards, so you can change the angle on the grip if you want. It's got this little rubber thing here. So it's a plastic, this is a hard plastic, little rubber thing here. The concept of the rubber thing is so your hand's in the same point every time. Because if you change your grip position, you change where the arrow lands on the target, right? So now my problem with this little rubber thing here is this will wear and basically pops off, and it looks a bit average when the bow's only like a month old. So the little rubber things here, I think Bowtech needs to fix this or just get rid of them. It should just be a solid piece of plastic, because at the moment they look unsightly when the little rubber things come off, and literally they come off from all the bows. The strings on the Bowtech are pretty good. I'm going to say no bow company has a warranty on strings, so if you get serving separation or peep sight rotation, that's the way it is. I'm going to say the Bowtech strings are pretty good, and I haven't had too many problems with them. Although I did have a customer who had some separation around here. The bow was 6 months old, and he said he'll never buy off me again. Look, I don't know if it's just me. I know how hard it is to make strings. It's really hard to make. A lot of these are made by computers and stuff. If it's done too tight, you get peep rotation. If it's done too loose, then you get separation here. So I'm like, look, there's a fair bit of time and effort. The materials that go into strings, I'm not going to be critical. For myself, I've been shooting for 40 years, over 40 years. I have never replaced a string on a bow, right? A lot of people will get strings and replace them straight away. I have never replaced a string on the bow. I've never really seen any difference. So for me, look, if you want to replace your strings, go for it. If you want to burn money, go for it. I think the Bowtech strings are fine, and I'd stick with them. String stop down here. Bowtech has upgraded it. I wasn't aware of it. They've upgraded it somehow to change it. It's a carbon rod with this thing on the end of it. They have these little dampeners here, which you can move around. This is just to absorb a bit of shock. I haven't drawn this bow. I've never shot this bow. I don't know what it's going to feel like. I don't know anything. I'm going to talk about the modules, which I haven't. They've got a flip system, so you go from a soft draw to a performance draw to increase the speed on it. I think that's really clever. Now, as far as you've got a position for a lower stabilizer there, I would prefer bushings, but there's 3 positions there. That's pretty clever. Now, when it comes to clever bows, as far as manufacturers who make bows, Bowtech have to be at the top of the list. And I'm going to say it's at the top of the list with Elite. And you can have a debate which bow's cleverer, which has got the most innovative ideas, Bowtech or Elite. And as far as I'm concerned, I think Bowtech may be a little bit more innovative than the Elite bow. Okay? Nothing wrong with either bow. It's just like when you come up with whiz-bang ideas, Bowtech seems to be a few years ahead of its competition, and you generally find the competition will copy Bowtech a few years later. Right? So it's the way it's always been. It's the way it is. The bows come in heaps of different colors, camos. They have like 2 lots of mossy oak camos. They have lots of colors. It's a good thing. The price point's pretty good on Bowtech. So let's try drawing it. I'm going to say most bows now are very similar priced. Now I'm shooting this is a gold tip Velocity. It weighs 327 grains, 60 pound, 29 inches. So let's see how it draws. It starts off solid. Feels solid. It's dropping there. Okay, it's easy once I get back. I'm going to shoot the shot. ...285 feet per second. It's not blazing speeds. It's probably where you expect it. So, the draw cycle, it builds up more at the start than the SS. It's on the comfort setting, so if you flip it to the performance, I think it adds about 5 to 7 feet per second. So it'd be like 290 feet per second. We're going to shoot a 3D HV. This will pump at about 305. So 3D HV from Victory, it's the fastest of all the carbon arrows basically. .309, it's just pretty quick actually, because normally it's only 20 feet per second faster. The bow is extremely quiet. There's no vibration. It's as impressive as anything. I definitely prefer the draw cycle on the SS Bowtech. This is my target arrow. This is a Victory VXT. Which one is it? A 355. These are pretty heavy with a 140 grain point. I think it's about... I did remember. I use the same arrows in all my things. I think it's about 370 grain arrow. It will shoot around 260, I think, is where it should shoot. It's just dead in the hand, 266. The bow's dead in the hand. The grip is really comfortable. It's a fairly flat grip. It's wider than a Hoyt. Very similar to a PSC. The Elite grip narrows in, so like similar to an Elite grip. The Hoyt hunting grips are more rounded, so Hoyt's a bit unique. This is a very comfortable grip, and I don't mind it at all. So with that, we'll take this bow back to 18 meters and we'll see how well we shoot. Okay, so I'm back at 18. I haven't hit the 10 yet, and my arrow is a little bit high in the target. So I'm just going to be my sight, just so you understand. I don't pre-shoot the arrows and just show you the best shots, which hopefully you've seen a lot of my videos. I don't know how it's going to turn out, and sometimes it doesn't turn out. Sometimes I stuff up, and I think that's part of it. Because when I just see people hitting the 10, I'm like, whatever. Like, you don't do that in real life. I've seen your scores at tournaments. I know how well you shoot. Anyway. So I'm going to move my sight up a little bit. Now, I'm going to say, from me shooting this bow, I haven't shot a group yet. Compare it to the SS. The back wall appears to be bigger. So I get back here and it feels like it's 90% let off, which a lot of hunters will like. For me, I feel less certain holding no poundage back here, because I feel like I'm going to flop stuff around, right? I feel less secure, if that makes sense, less positive, because when I'm holding a lot of poundage, I feel like it breaks cleaner. It's just me. Depends with how much you shoot. It depends on your form. It depends on lots of stuff. There's lots of people who shoot really well with high let off, and some will shoot really well with low let off. It all comes down to personal preference and your shooting. That is why I like a bow that's adjustable, and you don't have to go and buy modules to change and try stuff. Because you might find that you're comfortable shooting 70% let off or 65% let off, and unless you've got a bow that's that adjustable, you can't see that. So I'm going to say, for me and what I remember, I think I preferred the draw on the SS, although this bow is faster, and I think, well, for hunting I'd rather a bow which is a bit faster, 7 feet per second faster, and maybe I would prefer this bow on the performance mods. So flip them to get even more speed, and then maybe that will shorten the valley. This is all the stuff I would experiment with if I had this bow, right? So now the arrows I'm shooting, the reason I'll go into this, I'm going to shoot the 3D HVs, which I haven't done on a video before, because the Whisker Biscuit's a bit worn out, and when my staff fitted this and said you've got to do a review with this bow, the Whisker Biscuit's a bit worn out and the arrow's falling to the right, and I figured that will create some variation in the shooting. And so I went for a slightly bigger arrow to try and avoid that inconsistency. So how do I think I'll shoot this bow? Look, I shot the SS as well as any other bow I've ever shot in my entire life I shot it so well, I went and grabbed my target bow to see if I could shoot that well after I shot the video. And I shot okay, but I didn't shoot that well. Okay, so I don't know if it was just luck, but I shot that thing incredibly well. I don't think I'll shoot this that well because the draw cycle is not as smooth. I tend to shoot better with smooth draw cycles. We'll see how it aims. The let off feels more significant to me, so I generally shoot better with low let off. So we'll see how the video turns out. But nice bow. The 3D HVs also, I'm going to say, are a lighter arrow. They're faster. With a lighter arrow, you feel more vibration through the bow, and you hear more noise. So if you're a hunter and looking for a hunting arrow, your heavier hunting arrows are going to be quieter and less vibration through the bow. Alright, so they're going to be slower, but quieter and less vibration. So just always bear that in mind. Let's see how this goes. Okay, it's pretty windy, which is why I'm shooting under a bit of shelter, although the wind whips through behind me. I saw no left and right wobbling. So sometimes when I shoot and I do reviews, I see this. I saw none of that, and I think some of my staff said this bow is designed so you don't get the torquing. I don't know if it was this position or the position from something or something. Look, I didn't see the wobbles. I didn't see the wobbles on the SS. So something to do with the geometrics of the bow. It's meant to do less of this. Saying that, I've shot some bows recently that if I named them, I would lose my dealership. So I'm not going to name them, and people have shot extremely well at recent tournaments with those bows, and for me, I saw wobbles, right? So I don't know if it was the way I was holding the bow, if it was the way I was gripping the bow, whether they had stabilizers or weight, I don't know. I'm just, with this bow, I don't see any wobbles at the moment. Part of the wobbles you'll get if your hand grip is not consistent on the bow. And I definitely think it was something on those bows. I wasn't getting this right hand grip because I wasn't familiar with it. But with this, the hand grip feels comfortable to me. It feels very repeatable, and I feel very comfortable. One reason why I really like the Elite bows, I feel like my hand grip is really repeatable on them. So when you grab a bow, part of it is feeling the bow and liking the bow, but part of it's your hand grip too. Make sure the hand grip is something that's repeatable. I mean, one of my customers the other day said, if money was no object, what bow would you shoot? And I currently shoot the bow behind me, a Fivix. And when I did the review on that bow, I shot really well with it. I shot my best score. And I've shot all my best scores with it. And I said that actually I like the win bows. But I shoot really well with the Fivix bow. It's not to say I wouldn't shoot really well with the win bows. They're dead in the hand. I don't know if it's a grip or what, but I haven't tried a lot of the new ones just because I've been so happy. The limbs have been bulletproof, and I'm just really, really happy with it. So some of it gets back to just being comfortable with what you shoot. Now that one, because it didn't go in the 10 from what I can see, it was aimed perfectly in the 10, and when I shot this shot, I pushed it like that on the release. Don't ask me why, I just did. It might have been that I was feeling the wind and I wanted to get the shot off too quick, but that was a hand pushing it out to the left. Now, when I started this video saying about let off, I tend not to get those shots with low let offs because the bow's more forgiving for me with lower let off because it's harder to torque the bow with more poundage that you're holding. The bow feels really fast with these 3D HVs. Look, the bow feels easier to shoot, feels crisp, it feels really good. The draw is definitely harder than the SS. It hurts across my chest where they took out that vein for the bypass surgery. Yeah, so it hurts across here. But it's weird. It's weird for me because sometimes 60 pounds feels easy to draw and sometimes 60 pounds feels hard. I'm not saying this 60 pounds is a hard draw cycle, because it's not. I can draw it back quite easy, but it's definitely harder than the SS, if that makes any sense at all. Generally, bows with more speed are harder to draw. So if a bow is set on, like if, let's say a bow's like a full throttle, which shoots at 370, 60 pounds, 60 pounds to get that speed, another bow at 70 pounds will feel the same to draw. Because I've just got to build up so much more poundage and hold it for so much longer to get the speed. Like that. That end I got blown by the wind. I got blown out to the sight pin of 5. The sight pin came back in really quick to the gold. It settled really quick and I was relatively happy with the shot I got off, although I was rushing it because I didn't want it to blow back to the 5. But it felt pretty good. It was very settled. I wasn't wobbling around the place. Felt pretty good. Although with higher holding weight, I'll get blown around less than low let off and high let off. So if I'm holding like 5 pounds, I get blown around more than if I'm holding 30 pounds, or with the recurve behind me, if I'm holding 55, I don't get blown around that much at all. So I definitely find it easier to shoot in the wind with recurve than a compound. There's a vein. So I'm scrolling through Facebook last night before bed, and there's a young lady on there with a green Bowtech. I was like, that's amazing looking bow. She must be a really good archer. I didn't know who she was, right? So I was like, oh, who is this person? And she's shooting some old bows and stuff. Anyway, she brought the bow off me and acknowledged me in her post, and I was like, oh, cool. And I remembered it because it was a custom bow. And I was like, one thing about the Bowtechs, they look unique, they look cool, they are just a stunning bit of gear, and they stand out. I think I might have shot 2 vanes off. I'm just going to shoot one more. I'm going to shoot with 2 vanes, like I sometimes do. Look, what we're going to do is shoot with 1 vane, just to show you it makes no difference. Let's hope it makes no difference. I get so many people who worry about everything. You know, like what vanes, what this, what that. Just go shoot, try and make a good shot, and we'll all be fine. I don't know where that went, but I can't stress it enough, and I try and stress it on my videos. Try and focus on making good shots. It's so much the archer. It's so much about hard work and effort that you put in. Now, behind me I've got a new car. I've got a new car because my car's in getting serviced, and we're going to talk about that. Okay, so the group's not as good as the SS. Look, I thought they were all in the 10 from back there. Look, they're not bad, but I can't get my fingers around them. It's a little bit of left and right, which I felt before that I would get. The shots broke good. This felt much worse than it appears on the target. The height is excellent. Bit of left and right. There's a bit of wind, but I think most of that's to do with the high let off, low holding weight at the back end. I'm just getting a little bit of twitchiness there, but the bow aims really, really well. So just on the car before I finish this review, so my Mercedes has gone in for a service, and they've rung me up and they're like, oh, this is all the stuff that's wrong with your car. It's going to cost you $20,000. So we'll just go through it. Spark plugs, $700. Air conditioner filter, I think was $800. Front CV joint for the part, $4,500. The distributor for the air shock absorbers, I think was $1,500. He had some other things in there. I'm like, well, this is ridiculous. So, and the funny thing is, like, the last time I had the car serviced, between then and now, I haven't driven the car. So all the stuff that they came up with that needs to be fixed, it's the same car as it was the last time, and it hasn't had any Ks on it because I haven't been driving it. I was just like, well, I'll service it before I sell it, so the person's going to be happy with it. And now I'm left with a car that I don't know what to do with, whether I'll put it on the auctions, whether I'll trade it in. Because the car drives beautiful. It drives absolutely beautiful, and I just don't know like what to do. It's like everything's just crazy prices with Mercedes, and now I never want to own another Mercedes in my life. And I feel like all my friends have sold their Mercedes, probably for the same reason. Anyway, it makes me very numb to pricing, especially when it comes to archery. So, summary of the Bowtech SR. Look, it's faster. I love the adjustability that you have in the cams, the let off, the flipping modules, all the technology in it. Bowtech make a really good bow. I like it better than last year's bow. I felt like, look, last year's bow might have been really good, probably was, but these cams just feel a bit smoother to me. The bow aims really well. I would like less let off, which you might get with the performance setting. Price point is very good in the marketplace compared to everything else. Everyone seems to have a bow at the same price point these days. So I think Ballpark, it sells for around $1,800. I'm going to say this week, on Monday, 2 people came in and brought Bowtechs in my shop. They both of them not related, 2 separate customers, both came in and brought or purchased the SS34s. And I think the reason they did that is because it's a bit longer. The SS34 is a lovely bow. I think the Bowtechs are all very, very similar, which would make it hard for me as a customer to know which bow to get. Having shot them all, I still don't know which one to get. For hunting, I may choose the SR because it's faster, or I may choose the SS just because I got significantly better accuracy with it. But that could be just the setup, and it could just be changing the peg on the let off to make their valley shorter. That's all stuff I experiment with. So, but overall, like, it's not a bad group, and obviously I need to move my sight up even further than I did at the start of the video. So Bowtech overall, they make good bows. They're always cutting edge technology. Last year, I don't recall having any warranties with Bowtech. I think I had a couple of dry fires where I had to replace cams on a Bowtech, but it was a couple of bows, maybe, which is very good for the number of bows I sell. Because like on Monday I had 3 dry fire derails come in first thing in the morning. 3 separate customers all blew up their bows over the weekend. So we get lots of dry fires and lots of derails. So to have 2 for a year with Bowtech is pretty good. Yeah, so overall I'm very happy with Bowtech. I'm very happy with this bow. I think Bowtech have made improvements over the last years, which is what you want to see. The price point, how it compares to other bows on the market, like the Elite Ethos, the PSE Evolution, the Hoyt, the Matthews. The thing with Bowtech is you've got lots of technology. You've got the cams that move, the flipping modules, the adjustability on draw length, the grip that moves in and out. Look, no one else has got all that technology. Elite has, tunability. It's got adjustability in let off and that sort of stuff. And then after that, you've got PSE where you can move the cams left to right with spacers. And then after that, your Matthews and your Hoyt are more, I'm going to say, older technology, less up to date. Matthews don't have rotating modules. They're still using module-based systems that they've used forever. And Hoyt's using, I'm going to say, technology that's a couple of years older. Nothing wrong with it. I really like it. But Bowtech is just there. It's all new bling. It's very impressive. I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Thanks for watching.